Let us out, you piece of shits! I'll kill you all!
Bakugo shouted as you stood leaning against the wall. Watching as he punched and kicked at the door, you were surprised it was still standing. Bakugo wasn't going easy. You knew he was about ready to use his quirk and blow up the door himself. And turns out you were right. You saw his hand sparking up, so you took it upon yourself to step forward and press a hand to his shoulder. Calm down. He turned to face you with a snarl on his lips, his eyes twitching in anger. Look, as much as I want you to blow up the door so we can get out of here, bad idea. Aizawa will kill us, and I think you're the very last person that needs to get into even more trouble right now. So just calm down and we can figure a way out of here without blowing up half of the dorm. You two had been thrown in here against your will when you passed your friends playing 7 Minutes in Heaven in the living space. Although it had been much longer than 7 minutes now, and Bakugo was losing it fast, you knew your friends were still around to open the door. You could hear some giggles as well as some worrying whispers coming from the other side of the door. You do realize why they did this, right? You questioned the blonde, who in turn let out a tut of annoyance and crossed his arms.
Of course I do. They want us to get together. Right?
You smirked at his response. Yeah, I still think we should have told them we've been dating for a while now. This wouldn't have happened if you listened to me, you sang in a teasing tone. Bakugo grumbled at you. You two had decided to keep your relationship a secret. Lord knows your friends are way too nosy for their own good. You loved them to death, but if they found out you two were dating, they wouldn't shut up about it. They would tease you two and ask a bunch of questions. You probably wouldn't even be able to talk to each other without them making kissy faces from a distance. So you decided to keep it a secret. Well, Bakugo did. You didn't really care all that much. You were just happy he didn't harshly reject you and send you crying like you had expected him to do when you confessed to him. He actually got all soft on you when it happened, though it annoyed him to no end that he wasn't the first to confess to you.
I told you already. If we tell them, they'll be in our faces about it. I can't be bothered for that kind of shit. This is our relationship. We're the only ones who need to know about it.
Sure, but now we're locked in here for the rest of the night because of it. You sighed and looked around to see if there was anything you could use to either sit down or maybe even unlock the door with. You couldn't help but take notice that the whispers eventually disappeared, and now it seemed you two were alone. You knew they didn't just forget about you. In fact, you had a feeling that they intended to let you out after 7 minutes. But all of Bakugo's shouting and death threats must have scared them enough that no one had the courage to open the door now. You got comfy on the floor, using a few coats to create a pillow for you to sit on. What do you think would have happened right now if we weren't dating? You think their plan would have worked? You made idle conversation with him. He seemed to have calmed down a little, but there was still a deadly look in his eyes. Some people were going to get hurt tomorrow for trapping you two in here. You knew even if you managed to calm him down throughout the night, he would still be pissed when morning came. There was no way you could stop his revenge on them. Not that you'd want to. They should know better than to lock up a beast. There was a small silence after your question. He was actually trying to figure out what would have happened if you two weren't dating right now. It would be a lot more awkward, that's for sure.
Nothing would have happened. I probably would have let out all my anger on you, and you would have started crying or something.
He shrugged. He refused to get comfy, unlike yourself. That would be like admitting to defeat, and he wasn't going to give in that easily. You laughed at his answer, disagreeing with the fact he would make you cry. Yeah, right. You think I can't handle you when you're angry? If that was the case, we would never have even become friends. You shoved your hands into the pockets of your jacket. I think I might have tried my luck with you. It's not like you ever spent much alone time with me. It might have been the only chance I got to get you alone for a while.
What are you talking about? We already did confess when we were alone. We spent more than enough time together.
He argued, and you had to admit that was a good point. But it was only because you caught him walking alone to the dorms. It wasn't like you two had decided to spend time together. You just called it dumb luck you caught him on his way back from class when no one else was around. But it all worked out in the end. Well, I'll give it to you. You stood up, making your way over to him and leaning back against the wall beside him. Ever since we started dating, you seem to tolerate me a lot more. He scoffed at your words, shaking his head in disbelief.
Tuh. I don't tolerate you, you dumbass. I just happen to
He abruptly stopped himself to look away from you in a stubborn manner. He didn't need to finish that sentence. You knew what he was trying to say. Yeah, I L-word you too, you giggled softly at his stubbornness. You knew you couldn't say it out loud, but it was really cute when he blushed and turned away from you. It was like his own way of being shy. You two had only been dating a few weeks. He just wasn't ready to admit to his feelings out loud. He seemed to struggle to say it. He had tried to, or at least it had almost slipped out a few times that he loved you, but he never finished the sentence. You never forced him to finish it either. You knew he probably just wasn't ready to admit it out loud, and you were cool with that. You'd wait patiently until the day he felt comfortable enough with you to say it. The two of you took the time being locked in here to talk and joke around with each other. You two were stuck in here for the rest of the night. Might as well make use of the time. Though it only took a few more hours for your head to start falling to the side from drowsiness, your words becoming more and more incoherent until they eventually came to a stop. Your head dropped onto the blonde's shoulders. He didn't complain though. In fact, he wouldn't have it any other way. He let you fall asleep against him, and when he knew for sure you were asleep, he pressed a kiss to your head and wrapped both arms tightly around your frame. He closed his eyes. Your scent was so soothing it practically lulled him to sleep. He gave in to the sleep by placing his head onto your shoulders, and in a faint whisper he breathed out the words,
I love you.
When the morning rolled around, you both began to stir awake when there was giggling and clicking sounds coming from the doorway.
They're so cute! I've gotta hand it to you, Mina. I didn't think it would really work. I've never seen Bakugo without a scowl on his face before. Yeah, he actually looks happy cuddled up with them.
Your eyes blinked open slowly to see the Baku squad gathered around with grins on their faces as they snapped pictures of you two and cooed over how cute the sight was. You noticed that at some point in the night you had moved over and were now practically sitting in his lap. You blushed and shuffled your legs off of his, though the movement must have woken him up fully because you felt Bakugo shift from beside you and all you could think of was, "Oh no." Without wasting another second, he jumped up with a barbaric growl and began to chase your friends around the dorms.
You're all dead! Get back here and delete those pictures, you bastards!
You laughed as you watched them all trying to avoid the wrath of an angry Bakugo. Seems like this morning I'm getting breakfast and a show.